Hi, everyone, and how are you this morning? I'm Rod Duff from Insights in Straight Talk, an IMS production company. And I just wanted to jump on for a short time today because um, it's kind of sticking in my craw or concerning me that things are not as moving are not moving as well as and fast as we need them to. That may change shortly. But the reason I bring up for this utopia, and for us to have control over our politicians is really important. I mean, think about it. I heard a stat the other day that if you're living like in the low middle class in America, you're earning in the top 1% of the world. Now, that should be evidence that America's got something a little better than everybody else. This isn't a competition around the world, but there's a reason that the world looks to us and our leaders for a path to follow. If utopia is going to come through AI, and there's Doge that's coming out, and utopia is going to be able to give us the freedom to live. Trump said the other day, I forget where I saw it, but he said nobody in America should ever need for anything. That's utopia, right? Takes away stress, takes away everything for you to live and develop on your own and at an enhanced pace. The thing that I'm interested in is if that utopia is there, up ahead of us, then if we're at very low incomes, if we're in the top 1% of the rest of the world's what they make, we better really focus on getting stronger to the American message, to the American middle class. Because think about it, if we are at the top 1% and we're doing terribly here, the other governmental administrations, for different countries, if we're at the top 1%, that means those other governments are doing something wrong. I mean, it's a combination of different things, but just in the simplest form, we need to really work and develop what our founding fathers came to us or gave to us, and those inalienable rights that are ours by our by God and not by the government. The rest of the world 100% looks at that last comment as it is by the government. I mean, that's the narrowing factor in being successful in world economics today. That narrowing factor of being able to have the founding fathers create this utopia, giving us the pathway. The only problem is we're the only ones that really have that. We've started to get lazy and lay back and not really produce a message or a meaning. Honestly, not even putting a message of meaning for any one person's life. The time is upon us for us to go out and say hi, get to know your neighbors. And, just to add to that thought, we've all done good things and bad things in our life. And I was estranged for a little bit from my children and grandchildren. And when I came back, they I was never totally gone, but as I've made an effort, I expected to get a lot of pushback. Um, Fortunately, I have great kids and great granddaughters. Um, I am very sure of the fact that if no matter where you are in life, whether you're a father or a mother, wherever you are in life, if you make an effort, if you just make that effort, start getting to know your neighbors by getting to know, making sure you know your family. And what I mean by that is it's the same thing, don't be obtrusive, especially if you have teenagers. Don't be intrusive, and be patient and kind of really not guide. I mean, when asked questions, of course, give advice, but I've had an epiphany that I grew up in the old ways of life, and my whole objective was to get my kids to 18 and on, and then to the rest of their lives. When I had my stroke and my motorcycle accident and a bunch of other things that have happened to me over the last year or so, it made me really take a minute, slow down, and look at what is really truly important in this world. There's all sorts of cute little sayings about, you never wish you spent more time away from your family or at the office when you retire on your deathbed. There's more to that than you can believe. I mean, to start within your family. I've come back and realize there's a whole nother world that I never even knew existed. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to say, but it's true. I really am imposing and discussing these thoughts, because I got a lot of gray hair, so I've been through a lot. Not that a million other people haven't either, but something clicked, and all of a sudden I realize that the people that are in my family are the best freaking people in the world, and there's no better place to ever be than within their arms and within their care. I have had friends all my life. I've had partners, and I was fortunate enough that I was involved in very much all my kids' um, lives. But right when that 18 starts, that 19 starts, it seems to me, looking back, that's a better time to be involved with your kids, not just by taking them to sports games or making them do their homework and all that stuff, but just like kind of hanging out with them. Um, I, I'm not an expert at this because I'm very saddened that I didn't do this in the past. Um, when they got a certain age, I was taught, get them out in the world, and because the world's not an easy place. I didn't do it exactly like that, but with their mother and my separation, divorce, the boys stayed at home with me, and then kind of gradually they moved on and about. But what I'm getting at is spend time. I talk a lot about saying hi to somebody, wave at somebody, get the vibe better. You'll see a vibe, you'll feel a vibe. But I'm leaving out the best place to start. Not that nobody isn't out there already. And again, I'm speaking from ignorance because I didn't start till late. I'm ashamed to say the kids won't accept that as reality. They give me crap about being concerned, but deep down I know where I am. I know where they are. I know them, and I just got to tell you, it's amazing the feeling, I don't know if it's so strong with me now because I've never felt it before from me to them, but that reciprocation is coming on. I'm feeling emotions, and I'm not. I'm a regular guy, and but I mean, honestly, as a dad and as a grandfather, I've always seen people have the enjoyment of their grandkids, and I see different examples of that. But what I'm really finding out is what I really understand now is that the only we talk about safe spaces, right? The only real safe space is within your family, within your love. It builds. It takes a village to raise a family, but it takes a family to prosper within themselves and what their goals and ambitions and aspirations are. We need to be able to talk to our kids and our grandkids. This isn't a scolding lesson because I'm just throwing some thoughts out, some feelings that I've recently felt that I haven't honestly in the past. And there's a whole, we'll get into all sorts of things subject wise. As you know, this channel is about the middle class, empowering, and addressing the concerns and the aspirations of the great middle class. So with that, we're going to have different topics, men's mental health. That's something that's I'm really excited to get into at some point. I hope we do a whole series on that because it's being touched upon, especially with guys coming back from war and so forth, but it's being touched upon, but it's only at the beginning stages, because I think if we get back honestly to the way that America was, and so just a little bit ago, then I just lost my battery on my headphones. But anyway, the best thing that we can do is to really come and take a look at the topics, comment back on the topics, and let's start really looking at how to build America's great middle class better. I mean, no one person's going to do it. There's a bunch of people making comments, but I really stress upon the kids who are having kids now. I could say that I'm old. Kids that are having kids, don't be careful at how you parent. Do it with joy, and there's going to be frustration and so forth. But, talk to your kid at their level. It's going to be easy for you for a while because hopefully you're smarter than they are. But really sit back and talk to them. I've started seeing my son, my oldest son. He works from home, and so is able to, his 1-year-old just had his baby just turned 1, him and Lauren. And I see that interaction, and he and I had that because I had a back surgery when he was born. So we spent a lot of time together. But I didn't take the advantage of it that I now look back on. My point is, I was raised differently, and then you give some of that to your kids because of the environment, genes, but the environment, and then you need to really come to a place now where we've gone way over the top on being a soft parent, and way with the pendulum going back and forth, whereas as in the old days, punishments were strict and tight and rough, and we're never really our I told you before, my kids, I was raised, get them ready for the world, and around 18 they're gonna leave the nest, and we're gonna your partner and you, or me and my partner, are gonna live the enjoyment of watching that. I would like to see the world take more seriously their parenting as an important next generation survival thing. And I'd like to see, and it's too late, but I say it because I'm guilty of it. And I think there's some time we should all just take a look and self-analyze. I don't want to get into a bunch of new age words, but I think everybody knows what I'm referring to. And I think it's time for us to really get moving, because like I said, if we're the top 1%, even our poorest people, they're at the their income is in the top 1% of the world. That scares the heck out of me. That means we're the furthest thing away from the way that governors govern, but it's time to really take these notices and these actions and start to take this stuff a little bit more seriously. I want utopia to be based on the wealth of America, not the wealth of the government, the wealth of America versus the wealth of the rest of the world. All right. With that, I'm going to sign off. I just wanted to throw a couple thoughts out there to everybody. Come see us on LinkedIn at Rod Duff 1939. Website is www.rodduff.com. And Rod, by the way, is spelled with 2 D's, right? Go out and say hi to somebody today. Go give your kids a hug. And you know what? One thing I felt from my oldest son a couple of trips ago, when you hug your family, hug them tight. Give them a little squeeze. You know, there's a major difference between a hug and a hug, man. So that, give that to your kids back and forth, and because you're going to feel amazed if you don't already do it. With that, I'm Rod Duff with Insights and Straight Talk, an IMS production company. Go out and say hi to somebody. I love you guys. I love you. Come on, let's do this. Bye for now. See ya.